The Raiders haven't been to the Super Bowl since 2002. That was the last year the Buccaneers won it before this year. Here is Jon Gruden complaining about the failures of his defense to step up when the games matter the most.
We've got to play better complementary football. Our defense has got to get some critical stops at the end of the game. Mahomes beat us at the buzzer in Vegas. The Dolphins beat us at the buzzer. And Justin Herbert and the Chargers beat us at the buzzer. We've got to improve our fourth quarter pass rush. We got to finish games with our defense and preserve a lead. That's something we're going to continue to work on. I'm telling you, I'm sick of these Zoom meetings. I'll tell you that. You want to grab some of these Raider fans and you want them in that Allegiant Stadium. We missed them. Don't tell me their presence would have mattered in the fourth quarter against Miami or the Chargers or the Chiefs. We need that noise. We need that energy. Our players feed off it. I feed off it. Stay with us, and appreciate your criticism, and can't wait to get out in the community and see all you guys again soon. Let's beat this virus.
Sure. Yeah, sure. He appreciates criticism. I think when you see Gruden with that raised eyebrow constantly, I really do think he is the one kid whose mother said your face is going to freeze that way one of these days, and it did, like that.
It's pretty amazing. He can do it. I mean, it's part of him. That when I think of Jon Gruden, I think of him, in the quarterback room, teaching us offense and making, oddly enough, he was the first snarky guy I ever worked with, all right? Or, in snarky comment, there was no paste and copy, but a snarky comment, and that eyebrow certainly will always be etched in my brain forever, certainly. But his point is real. I mean, the Raiders, it is all defense. Holy crapola, Batman. I mean, there's nothing on their front seven. It's got to start there to what he is talking about a little bit. They get nothing out of their pass rush, really. Max Crosby is their best pass rusher. He's real good. He's not great or anything like that. I'm not going to put him in superstardom, but there's no, disruptor, difference maker in the whole front seven. There's none of that. And then in the back end, there's a little talent, but they're young and undisciplined. And a little crazy that way, too. So that doesn't work well. Okay, young and undisciplined in the back end, and nobody does anything to make a play in the front end. I can tell you're going to be one of the bottom five defenses in football if that's your formula. I don't care what team you are. And that's where they got to adjust. And, of course, that graphic kind of proves the point.
How much of it's personnel, how much of it's coaching, though? Paul Guenther got thrown under the bus by Jon Gruden during the season because the defense wasn't good enough. If you're not committing the resources to the defense in a smart way, and let's face it, Jon Gruden's in charge of that franchise. Jon Gruden's an offensive guy.
Right.
He's going to skew toward boosting the offense. All roads lead back to the guy who's in charge of the team, and it's Gruden. Either he hired the wrong defensive staff or he didn't put enough money into the right people to come in and play defense, but it's on him. And this is one of the problems when a guy who's an offense-only guru ends up in charge of a full team.
Well, yes, but that's status quo for a lot of those type of coaches. Usually you see defensive coaches, they try to go all in on defense because that's how they got the job, and they want to make sure, hey, the fan base, they expect defense. I got that. Same with the offense.
But a lot of those guys don't run the team, so that's the difference.
I got you. You're exactly right. He set it up here early on to get the offense stabilized. They got one of the best offensive lines in football. We know they got Josh Jacobs at running back. They got a damn good receiving core, and they probably got the third best tight end in all of football behind Kittle and Kelsey. So with that, they don't need to do much on that side of the ball. You're right. It's about the personnel to me on the defensive side of the ball. Paul Guenther, okay, yeah, he's not, He's not, Rex Ryan, or not Rex Ryan. Who's his dad? I was going to say his dad, and I'm blanking on his name. Who's Rex Ryan's dad?
Buddy
Ryan. Damn.
Buddy.
I mean, he only beat the crap out of my dad
Football
my whole
historian.
life.
Football historian knows all history except his own and Buddy Ryan.
Yes, exactly.
Those are the two exceptions.
But either way, no, I think the point is what you made. The talent there is not good enough no matter who the coach is. And they did. I think Mayock and Gruden, they worked on the offense, and now it's got to be an offseason of we got to spend money, resources on making this defense better. Not that it has to be the best in football, but it's certainly, if it can get to the middle part of football, round 15 or 16, then I would go, okay, watch out for the Raiders. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they might be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, look, this is a team that has this feel, this vibe of gradual improvement. They still haven't been to the playoffs 3 straight years since Gruden has returned. And as I said, and I stand by it, any other coach would have been on the hot seat. Any other coach would be on a blazing hot seat going into this season. Gruden, hey, he's just in year 4 of year 10, which could end up being year 15 because Mark Davis does not seem inclined to do anything about it. And that's fine. It's great work if you can get it. But the reality is, at some point, they got to be on a trajectory that takes them to the postseason with 7 of those spots now in the AFC, or this Gruden return to the NFL gets deemed a failure.
This is a huge year.
Through 3 years, it's a failure. It's pass-fail. Playoffs or not, it's pass-fail. And that F gets bigger when you have 7 spots in each conference. And, yeah, I think this is huge. If he goes 0 for 4 with the Raiders getting to the postseason, when he had a team that was just in the playoffs a year before he got there, that is a huge indictment of Jon Gruden's current coaching skills. And he may not like hearing that, but it's the truth.
Well, I think he went into the job and probably sold the ownership that, listen, we're going to do.
He didn't have to sell anything.
Well, he didn't have to sell anything.
He had the job. They had him at hello before hello.
I get that.
Job.
Listen, hey, we talk about the Raiders a lot. Jon Gruden is a lightning rod of a subject. I mean, the Raiders are more relevant with Jon Gruden at coach. There's no doubt about that. Certainly, they unfortunately, Antonio Brown went, kind of crazy on them there. That ruined some of their plans to a degree. All right. The Khalil Mack issue and lack of cash and being able to spend him forced them to trade, their best defensive player to a degree. So I think that Mark Davis and Jon Gruden at least sold to him after he got the job that, listen, if you want me to do this, I got to build this my way, and it might take 2 or 3 years. We're seeing a lot of coaches demand those 6-year contracts and all that. Well, he's a Super Bowl winning coach that, has history there, and they gave him 10 years. But to what you're saying, it is a huge year. And this is the year you go, year 4 in the NFL, okay, you've done some good things, but now it's time to produce like you're talking about. And if he doesn't get to the playoffs, his butt will be, I think, extremely hot.
I think the 6-year contract has become the anti-dysfunction movement by a team.
I hear you, right?
Hey, I need to give you 6 years. You want 6 years because we've had this revolving door. This is our way to prove to you, to everyone else, and to ourselves that we're not going to fire you after 2 or 3. The 10-year deal for Jon Gruden was different. That was a Vegas move. That was we finally got Jon Gruden back. I've wanted him for years. I got him back, and I'm committing to him for 10 years, even though I don't believe the full 10 years is guaranteed. And I think once he gets past year 5, to the extent that Mark Davis would be inclined to apply that hot seat, it would be easier to get away from some of that money on the back end. It was explained to me when the deal was done. It's not a firm 10-year, $100 million commitment with full guarantees all the way through. But at some point, Mark Davis has to ask himself, is this where we want to be? And it may just be, hey, every team says we want to win the Super Bowl. The reality is you win at the box office. You win on the balance sheet. And having Jon Gruden with the Raiders, they went through a lot of lean, ugly years where they weren't winning and they weren't relevant. Now, regardless of whether or not they make it to the playoffs, they're relevant every year.
Yes.
They're interesting every year. Jon Gruden brings that appeal to the team that is independent of wins and losses. And, fans don't like to hear this. They get caught up in wins and losses in the pursuit of a championship, but this is ultimately an entertainment business, and you need to be entertaining. And the Raiders are entertaining. They may not be a playoff team, but they're entertaining.
Yeah, they are. There's no doubt. But this is where, I'm going to vouch for my old head coach here. Trust me, he's going crazy. He wants to be in the playoffs. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He is not there just to make a show and sell tickets. And, I don't know Mike Mayock real well, but I know him enough to know, he's doing all he can too. He's a real worker, a real football guy. They're trying to do this the right way. And added on to that, I'm going to make one more thing where, hey, they got Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator. I think that's going to improve their football team. I really do. Gus was in Tampa with John and I back in those days. He's one of the better defensive minds in football. And I think that's going to make them better just off the bat, right there, to have him on that side of the ball, certainly. But, yes, as we talked about, they need help on that side of the ball, and that's where Mayock and Gruden are going to have to help out Gus Bradley a little bit just to give him a little talent to make his defense really go.
Well, if there is fairness and consistency in the NFL, the Raiders and Mayock will have one fewer draft pick as a result of Jon Gruden's open flirtation with Richard Sherman, that blatant example of tampering from a few weeks ago.
You are just at him. What did he do to you? Did he?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing. Okay, I don't know. I thought maybe did he beat you up at the last owners meeting or something? What happened?
I feel like the guys that hate me the most are the guys that I am the most like.
I do too. Snarky comment,
right?
paste comment.
Whether it's Gruden, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, right, and I'm that kid yelling, "You're a free agent! You're a free agent! You're about to be poor! You're about to be poor!" That's me. But at the end of the day, I think we're exactly alike, and I think that drives them crazy.
I don't disagree.
Because I can see through them. I know what makes them tick.
There's definitely some things there that are very similar. There's no doubt about it. That's why I laugh and joke about it, certainly. And hey,
but I'll say this. Yeah. I have been to a playoff game in the last 3 years.
Oh, you're such a jerk. Yeah, you're such a jerk. He's great. He's gotten Derek Carr wired. Derek Carr played phenomenal football last year. Listen, is he a superstar? No. But Derek Carr played really well last year. They got that offense in place. He really is. But you know what he'd say to you? One of the things he first said to me, when I used to, mess up those plays you see on social media where I'd just go,
careful. Self-edit yourself.
I am. I know it's not no four-letter words or anything. When I would mess up, west right, F left, 372, Y stick, Z spot, and he'd test me in the meetings in front of people. Hey, Simms, spit it out. West right slot, 72 Z bingo, U split, Canon 58 Lexus, and I'd be and he'd go, Simms. In his eye, I can't do that eye thing. You know what you're like? You're like warm pee running down my leg. That was on the first thing he said. That wasn't that bad. It's 2021. Warm pee down your leg. That's what he said.
That is one area where he and I are definitely not alike.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.